Okay, so the next stage we get to is, or the next, the next sort of key area you need to look at is feasibility. Okay, so what should have happened by now is you've done your scoping, you've done your planning, you know who's doing what, by where, when, why. You've really documented everything out now, and you've got a really clear idea of exactly what's about to take place. Okay, so, and it's all been approved. We know we're gonna, we've at least done those bits. Now we move to the next stage, which is just confirming that the project is in fact feasible. Okay, and at this stage of the project cycle, we need to be ready to discuss the overall risks of the project and what our likely chances of success are, okay? So what are our risks and chance of success? Okay, so what's our chance that it's all going to work? Okay, so we should be able to discuss that. And it's at this space that another SWOT should really be done to make sure that we've got some good information, good decision-making process. Okay, so that's going to be aided by, quickly conduct your SWOT. What are the strengths of the project? Now that we've looked at everything, what are the strengths of it? What are any weaknesses that are starting to emerge? What are the opportunities this is actually going to create? And what threats might actually be coming out of it? So threats might be things that we don't know, or areas where we're a bit ambiguous, we're not entirely sure. Opportunities, look, things are going to come up. When you start to do the planning and you start to look at your resources and you start to look at the people you've got, that's when new opportunities might come up, okay? And your strengths and weaknesses, you can look at the plan and see, look, this is what the plan's really good at. The weakness, maybe we've limited the scope too much. We haven't sort of thought about additional things that we've got. Another one we can do there is just that quick force field analysis. If we wanted to do that, what's working for us, what's working against us, and thinking about our risks. Okay, so we want to go through the feasibility stage. We need to make sure, as I say, we talk about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we're really looking at what can affect the project. The force field analysis, so we're looking at, what are all those driving forces? So, the more powerful the driving forces behind us, the more likely it is that we succeed. Do we, good materials, good resources, we've got heaps of time, all those great things that are really going to help us. And then we need to think about what are the resisting forces. So things that, is everybody ready for this big change? People resist change. If we're going to put a change out there in the organization, are our staff going to get on board with it? And what we're trying to do is identify at this stage, what are our points of resistance? So what's going to slow us down and stop us from achieving that goal? All right, and that's when we start to make sure that we've covered off our risks. Again, make sure we've really thoroughly thought about risks. So, some basic questions there are, where are the risks going to come from? So where are we expecting the risks to come from? What's the most likely things? How large are those risks? Are they big things? Are they showstoppers? Are they going to really ruin our day? Or are they not really a big deal? And once again, don't overstate the risk, just call it for what it is. Don't get caught into, a lot of people get sensationalist and paranoid about everything. Oh, it's going to be huge. No, look, keep it at the actual level that it is. Who or what organizations may pose a risk to my organization. So, if I'm a business and I'm starting up or I'm launching in a new area, other businesses in that area are going to see me launch and all of a sudden carry out their own plan to try and stop me from being able to achieve my goal of successfully launching my company, or, playing with suppliers, or all sorts of little things, okay? People can be a bit sneaky and a bit cheeky, so we need to watch that carefully and think about, if I telegraph what I'm doing too much, does it allow my competitors the opportunity to get ahead of me? All right, and so what situations or activities create the possibility of risks occurring? Okay, so at what point, what bits in my plan are going to be the ones that create the risks? Is it going to be the workplace health and safety aspect? Is it going to be in my marketing plan? I might say the wrong thing. I might commit too early. Okay, I need to think about all those little things that can go wrong and where are they likely to come from, just so I can deal with them. Okay, so the next thing I need to know about risk is, well, how much risk am I prepared to take, and how much is my sponsor prepared to take? So what sort of risks are acceptable for them to carry that they'll say, yeah, look, that's not a problem, and at what point do they go, actually, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So we need to think about that and how we're going to reduce or eliminate those risks to make sure everyone's cozy. I need to think about, what are the risks in my day-to-day operations? Okay, so what are the key things that could go wrong just day-to-day? The staff don't turn up. Do we have enough cash on hand to make sure we can pay people in a timely fashion? Is everyone's permits up to date? If we require permits, okay, all that basic stuff. What if a supplier's late? What if we can't get into the building, or what if the building catches fire? All that really day-to-day stuff that I need to think about. Okay, and also I need to think about risks from, if I need to form a team to put this together, well, there could be risks in recruitment. So I need to think about, well, who are these people I'm going to get? And if I have to go out and recruit and hire a bunch of people, what are the risks there? And the obvious things there are, I can't find the people with the skills I want. I can find the people with the skills I want, but they want too much money and I don't have the budget. Or I can find them, they don't want too much money, but they've got the wrong qualifications. Or I can find them, they don't want too much money, they've got the right qualifications, but they can't start till 3 months from now. Okay, so all that obvious stuff that could go wrong, I need to make sure that we've started to think about it and start to deal with it. And as the project manager, I need to think about what are my potential set of actions that I can put in place to make sure that I can meet those anticipated risks. What if I can't get the right number of people at the right time? What's my plan B, or how could I overcome that quickly? So steps to try and reduce this, because this is at this stage really going to drive the drive the decision making. So I need to make sure I identify the risks. So make sure I've identified them all. I've analysed and evaluated. And if you've done risk management, this stuff will all be pretty obvious. I need to be able to make sure I'm treating those risks or dealing with how I'm going to deal with it. And then I need to monitor it to make sure it's not happening or I've reduced the impact, okay? So as I say, if it's just those operational ones, how do I identify the risks? So where's the money going to come from? Have I analysed and evaluated so I know what the circumstances are going to be? I've thought about a treatment, so what am I going to do if it does happen? What if I can't find those people? What if I can't get the budget? What if I can't find the right skills and qualifications? What am I going to do about it? And then monitoring it to make sure that we're following on. Also just thinking about my legal obligations to make sure that I don't contravene any legal requirements as well. So once again, just check that through and think it through. I just need to have another quick look at my stakeholders. Okay, remember stakeholder, anyone who can affect or be affected by the operation. I need to make sure that I'm considering who they are in that picture. And we'll talk about stakeholders a little bit more in a minute.